Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sue with Fashion for the Face by Sue W. And I just want to welcome anybody who's new into my channel, as well as those that have been with me before. I really, really appreciate you watching my videos. And if you enjoy them, I'd love for you to give them a thumbs up. It means the world to me. So, with that, we're going to get started, and today we're going to do a get ready with me. I have a meeting later on, and so I need to finish up my makeup. And as I had told you on an Instagram post, I'm going to take many of the products that I bought during the Sephora sale, and we're going to try them on together. A couple I've already played with and can give you some good feedback. A couple that I'm still playing around with, so we'll see how that goes. So, what I'd suggest is that you get yourself a nice cup of coffee, something cold to drink, and just sit down, get cozy, and we'll get started. So, I pinned my hair back, and we're going to start with a primer. I've already done my moisturizer, my serum, all of that good stuff. And now we'll put on the Cali Ray primer. It's considered a plumping hydrator, a pore eraser, an oil controller, and a makeup replacer. So the good news here is it's a clean product. It's considered to be a blurring primer with collagen peptides. As far as I know, those are all good things. And for those of you who have not watched me before, I have very dry, mature skin. So anything that's gonna blur things is something that I'm very excited with. So I'm gonna just take some of this. And by the way, this was in a holiday kit that came with both the primer and the setting spray. So I'll use the setting spray at the end. And I'm just gonna put some of this on my hands, and then I like to put it all over. And what I will tell you is it does have a scent, but it's not anything that is bad. I can't tell you what it smells like. I think it kind of smells like fruit. So, but it feels really nice on the skin, kind of silicone-y, if you will. And that's that. So a little dab will do ya. And now that we have put on our primer, I'm gonna move on to actually my eyes. And the reason I do this is because with some eyeshadows, there tends to be fallout, and I am going to be using an eyeshadow that's pretty soft, and it also has shimmer, so sometimes the shimmer falls down, and it's best to do that before you put your foundation on, because you could kind of clean it off and then move on with your foundation. So with that, the eyeshadow I'm going to use is, yes, the YSL Couture Mini Clutch in 100. I really like this color, but I will be honest, I'm going to be watching to see if there's any Black Friday deals, because this one's a very neutral color, browns and creams and taupes. There's another one that's got gorgeous pinks in it, and I'd like to try that as well. So with that, by the way, it does have its own little brushes. I tend to use regular brushes because it's easier for me. So let me just get up close and we'll start. Now, first of all, a lot of people do tend to use a primer on their eyes prior to using their eyeshadow because they feel that it holds the eyeshadow better. I tend to skip that step, not because I don't think it's a good idea, probably more because I'm a little lazy when it comes to that. But I have used the Urban Decay Yes, Decay, and that tends to be a nice primer. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the light kind of taupey in my crease. So I'm going to just take it, tap it off, because as I said, there's a lot of, it's just a real soft shadow, and put that all in my crease. Now, if you'll notice, the reason I'm doing the eyeshadow and I'm holding the eyeshadow brush like this is because I broke my wrist about 8 weeks ago, and I still don't have full motion in my wrist, and therefore it's a little difficult for me to hold things in a certain way. And by the way, I also did buy tape. Now, I've never used tape before, but I understand that if you put tape like right here when you're doing your work, it can give you a really nice line for the eyeshadow to follow. So we'll see how this goes. I'm doing this together with you. Who knows? It may look silly, but we'll see how that shows up. So anyway, yes. So I broke my wrist, and of course everybody asked me, how'd you break your wrist? And I had to come up with a really good story, because I don't know about you, but simply saying I broke my wrist, I'm going to put some brown now towards the corner to deepen things up, to basically say, oh, I was a klutz and I just tripped over my own 2 feet. That doesn't sound exciting, right? So my line, because we actually went on a cruise within a week after I broke it, my line was, I was pole dancing. If you could have seen the reactions from people when I said that, it just totally cracked me up. Cracked them up too, because they didn't know, is she serious? Is she not serious? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take I'm going to clean this off with my switch, and I just want to soften the edges, you know, bring this brown in a little bit more, because I put on a lot. And as you could tell, it's extremely pigmented, which is what I love about this. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is, I don't want to use a big brush. And by the way, a lot of the brushes that I'm using are either Rephr brushes or they're Sigma brushes. So I'm going to take that brown and I'm going to put it on a really small brush. Sorry, I'm going to have to look down at my mirror here, because trying to do it in the camera, I'll probably look like a crazy person when I'm done with the eyes. I love the colors in here. They are just so easy to blend. They have such pigment. They really show up well. I can't say enough about them. So, okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this color right here, which is a gorgeous shimmer, and I'm going to put it right at the base, inside to mostly outside. Oh, guys, I love this. This really is such a beautiful, bright shimmer. I tried this once off camera and really enjoyed it. It's kind of strange doing it on camera because I don't feel I have as much control when I'm not in my own bathroom putting this on. That's really, here, let me see if I can get up really close. Yeah, I really, really love how this goes on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lightest color here and I'm going to just use it to brighten up my brow bone. See how we can make this just a brighter look. Yeah, that's nice. And I'll probably put it a little inside as well, just to give a little shimmer there. No question that this is soft, so be careful of the fallout. Oh, this is really nice. Look, guys, I know to spend money on a quad, and yes, it is pricey. It's $68. Now, I got 20% off, and so therefore, I think if you can get a percentage off, this is just so beautiful. I would spend the money, but again, that's going to be a personal decision you're going to make. And I would hope that during Black Friday, you can find, see how it makes such a nice line? You can find this on sale. I know it's being carried by Macy's, Nordstrom, Sephora, and in fact, there's a holiday. There is a holiday quad in a holiday packaging, if you will, white and gold. It's beautiful. The packaging is beautiful. You might want to try that. Okay, so eyes are done. I hope you think that's great. And by the way, I'm going to put some eyeliner in the waterline later after I put on the foundation and everything else. And I'll probably have to touch up the bottom of the eyes as well, but that's fine. The other thing I'm going to do is I bought the Summer Fridays. There was a holiday kit for these as well. So I'm just going to put it on my lips right now. Guess I can't talk and put it on my lips at the same time. But I'm putting it on right now because my lips are really dry. And this is definitely, it's called a lip butter balm. So it's supposed to make your lips nice and soft, and we'll see how that goes. While I'm doing my makeup, I might as well have something that's going to, be nice for my lips. Okay, so we have already put the primer on. We've already done my eyes. Now it's time for our foundation. And when I talked to you about my haul, I had not bought a foundation. There was one I was eyeing, and I finally bit the bullet. And let me tell you, this one was really hard for me to justify buying. But I had heard so many content creators, particularly Morgan, and I'll put her name down below, who said they love it. And while it is, yes, a pricey $90, this is a Tom Ford Traceless foundation stick. And what it's supposed to do for you, let me read it to you. It's supposed to, I have no idea because there's nothing on the box. But my understanding is there's no alcohol in it. There's lots of skin caring ingredients in it. And so it really is supposed to just glide on and melt into your skin, so it doesn't even look like you're wearing foundation. So I will tell you, I've tried this twice as well. I really like it. I would never have gotten it if I didn't get a discount on it, because I think to spend $90 on a foundation is kind of crazy. But, you know, if I'm getting 20% off, then I feel a little bit better. Although I gotta be honest with you, there are other foundations that I have truly been enjoying that I'm not sure I would make the investment in this. However, it's easy to travel with because it's a stick foundation. You don't have to worry about any breakage, that sort of thing. So it's whatever you're into. It's a great foundation. I am not disappointed I bought it. The question will be when I finally use it up. And the one thing I will say, you get a lot of product in here. You get 15 grams of product in here. So if you look at price per gram, you will find that it really isn't as expensive as it sounds, just based on the amount of product you get. So we'll see. If and when I ever finish this, we'll see if I loved it so much that I would buy it again. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to draw lines all over and use my handy dandy BK Beauty foundation brush. I love this brush. Love it, love it, love it. And just start brushing it in. It goes in really, really nicely. It really does blend into your skin beautifully. I don't see it being incredibly drying on my skin. But you can tell me what you think. And in addition, I don't think you really have to use a tremendous amount. Now, as you can say, I put this directly onto my skin. Some folks like to just take it and put it on their brush, and then from the brush, put it in their skin. I think it's up to you on what you feel most comfortable doing. But I will say, when getting up close, I think this looks lovely. And if you have a skin tone that is similar to mine, then the color I've got is 3.7 Champagne. It's got a little bit of a rosy undertone. That's typically what I look for, either neutral or rosy. I don't like a yellow undertone. That's just not my coloring. So I'll bring it up as close as possible. See, as you can see, it really doesn't go into fine lines. It feels really good on the skin. I gotta say, I do like how it just blends seamlessly into the skin. And I really don't get much. When I just did that, not a lot on my hands. So that is the Tom Ford Traceless Stick Foundation. Okay, so let's move on to what's next. Okay, next is my Gucci concealer. Now, I got the concealer in 16C Fair. Actually, when I first bought it, when I first ordered it, I ordered 12C Fair, and it was just way too light. I mean, I like to use a concealer that is basically a little bit lighter than the foundation so that it brightens my eyes. But the 12C was just too light. And right now I'm going to use the Rephr 36. It is considered a concealer brush, and I personally like it because it really does the job for you. And as you can see, I'm taking it right back so that it makes the eyeshadow nice and clean as well. And for me, I think this color is perfect. It blends into my skin, it brightens my under eyes, and it really is light, which I like. I don't like anything that feels cakey or heavy. Forgive me here, I know I had a sponge. Looks like I lost my sponge. Bear with me. Once I blend it in, then I take a damp beauty blender just to make sure that it is completely set. Yeah, I like it. I like how it brightens up the eyes, and that works for me. Now, the next step normally would be to set it with setting powder. Since I did not buy setting powder, I'm going to skip that step for now. And by the way, I know it's not good to pull on your eyes like that, but I just want to make sure that it's blended in well enough that it doesn't look cakey. Okay, so that is the Gucci concealer. Now, I love it. It's expensive. Is the Tower 28 just as good? Yeah, I don't see a big difference. So you could just buy the Tower 28 and save yourself some money. All right, now let's move on to contour. So here's the deal. I did buy a double contour bronzer from Give Beauty. When I got it, I gotta be honest, I didn't find it to be flattering. I thought it looked muddy. It just wasn't. Maybe if I picked a different color, it would have been better. I picked Toasted, and maybe if I got a little bit deeper, it would have been nicer, but it just didn't send me. So I'm going to be putting on my favorite, again, a little more expensive, the Westman Atelier. And this is in Biscuit. And maybe it's because I really like a stick contour. It's just easier to manage. Do a little contour down my nose, on my forehead, and go from there. So there you go. And this is my contour brush. Actually, I got this when I bought something from Tarte. It came with the brush, which I really liked. So right away, what you can see is, if you look, now that I've blended it in, it just makes your cheekbones more pronounced. I never knew this until I started watching others do their makeup. So this just, I learned so many tricks about how contour can help elongate your chin. It can highlight your cheeks, cheekbones. It just There's so many things that you can do with makeup that I never knew about until I started watching YouTube channels of other content creators. And interestingly enough, I found it fascinating. Okay, so have you guys watched The Golden Bachelor? Golden Bachelor is all about a man who's 72, by the way, attractive, and a bunch of women aged 60 to 75. And I've really enjoyed it. And what I've enjoyed most about it is they have said things that provided me with a little validation. For any of you who have followed me since I started my channel, I told you the reason I started my channel is because my mother and I were talking at some point as my mother got older, and what a beautiful woman she was until the day she died, as far as I'm concerned. And she said, you get to a certain age and you become invisible. And lo and behold, one of the women on The Golden Bachelor, who, by the way, was beautiful and in her 60s, said, yeah, you get to a certain age and you become invisible. And she used the exact same words. So I think there are many of us that have felt that as we have aged, and we don't need to. We need to be confident about who we are. And if makeup can help us regain that confidence, that's what I hope helping you to do. It certainly makes me feel better. Okay, now we're on to blush. And I will tell you, I got both the Rare Beauty. There was a holiday pack that had 2 blushes, 2 highlighters. So I'm going to use one of the blushes, one of the highlighters. And then LYS had a 3-pack of cream blushes. So what I plan to do is use a little bit of both. There is no rules when it comes to doing your makeup and the products you can use, what you can top, what you can put on the bottom, how much you can use. Now, I will tell you that this Rare Beauty is definitely very pigmented. So just know that going in, and just put on 1 drop, because you know what? If you have to add to it, you can add to it. Oh, this is such a beautiful color. This is called, I think it's called, Wisdom. It's just a gorgeous mauve-y, very elegant color. Okay, 2 dots. That's all I'm using. Closing it up. And by the way, you should work pretty quickly with this because it dries down pretty quickly. So you don't want to be stuck with just dots on your eyes. That's why I would do 1 cheek at a time and go from there. Okay. You see? Isn't that pretty? I think it's pretty. And 2 little dots is really all you need. Now what I'm going to do is there is a there's a Self-Love shimmer from LYS that I'm going to just add on top. Yeah, I know. I'm probably overdoing it with the blush, but you know what? I'm okay. I don't think I'm gonna look like clown cheeks or anything. What I like about it is it just adds a little bit more shimmer. Just take it over my nose a little. And it's such a beautiful day today. I do not feel uncomfortable adding a little extra blush. I really like these LYS cream blushes and the Rare Beauty as well. I think you can use both of them and they will do the trick for you. All right, Now what I want to do is I want to take a little of this Rare Beauty, and what I'm going to do on the Rare Beauty highlighter is I'm going to put it just on my hand, and because I'm afraid that I'll put too much on. This allows you to see the color. Isn't that color pretty? It's this champagne, kind of pinky champagne. And then I'm just going to tap it and tap it and just use my finger to highlight my face. I'm going to do it on this side too. Just, as you can see, this hand does not want to cooperate. So anyway, I'm now 9 weeks in, and I'm taking occupational therapy to improve the range of motion of this wrist. And oh, by the way, didn't seem to mention that, of course, the wrist I broke, this one, happens to be my dominant hand. Yes, I am a lefty. Such as it is. Okay, do you see? It just gives a little bit of shimmer and shine. I'm not one that wants it blasting me. So there you go. Last thing we need to do now is put on our lipstick. Oh, and I can also just touch up here. This is the Rare Beauty. I think they call this the Perfect Strokes Longwear Gel Liner. And my understanding is it goes in and it doesn't come off. Whoops, made a little mistake there. So we'll see how that works. I'm going to just touch up a little bit on my lower lash line. And it looks like we are ready for lipstick. I think I showed this to you last time. Let me first get off my butter balm and any foundation I've got on my lips. And I'm going to use the Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liner. And this one's in the red. I think the one thing you can see is that this goes on extremely easy and it's very, very pigmented. The other thing I bought was the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Satin Cream Lipstick. And I got it in the color Who's That Lady? I really think this is a beautiful red. Okay, put it on. Such a pretty red. And it'll be great for the holidays. You know, normally I'm a pink girl, but every once in a while I like a little red. Okay, and finally, I'm going to put on, I told you I bought this Lawless Lip Plumping Gloss. It just brightens everything up. So that's pretty much all I have. Let me go off camera, finish up with my eyebrows, which I'm going to use my Benefit eyebrow products, and fix up my hair, and I will be back to give you my final thoughts. Thanks. Okay, and now it's time for my final thoughts. The one thing I will tell you is I washed my hair today, and I had also talked about a holiday kit that I received a bunch of hair products. This Way leave-in conditioner, oh my gosh, my hair feels so soft but full of bounce and volume. I I can't say enough about this. I definitely will be buying the full size of this Way product. Again, leave-in conditioner. Great. Okay, so I want to thank you all for hanging with me, letting me get ready with you. And I've got to say, all the products that I got from Sephora and tried, I really enjoyed, with the exception of the Give product, which I returned. But other than that, I really can say that I'm happy with the products I got. Again, would I spend $90 on this? Definitely not, and didn't. Will I repurchase it because I've got other products in my collection that are a little less expensive? Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. Because price per gram, it is a good buy. Concealer, like the concealer, think it looks good. Let's see how it wears. Let's see if it creases. I did put on some powder. So again, if you want something a little less expensive, I love the Tower 28 too. But I'm enjoying this. So everything else, I would say if you can get it, and certainly when there's a sale, I would jump at it. So anyway, guys, I know this was a longer video. I have never done a get ready with me. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. As I said, please subscribe. If you have things you want me to do or try, please leave comments, because this is all for you. And I just want to do what you think is important to you. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.